Friends, good morning, or actually good afternoon or good evening, wherever you may be. And welcome to another live stream, this being the SPTV News live part of the channel, where we try to keep you up to date on the latest shenanigans of the cult of Scientology. So, as many of you know, Leah Remini filed a civil lawsuit against cult leader David Miscavige and the cult of Scientology on August 2nd, alleging harassment, basically fair game tactics, since she started speaking out about the church. And believe it or not, she has now amended it recently because they appear to be harassing her again ever since she freaking filed the thing a few weeks ago. So let's get right into it. Here's the latest update. Leah Remini claims Scientology has continued to, quote, be aggressive since she filed her harassment suit. And this was just a few weeks ago. The Church of Scientology hasn't yet responded in court to Leah Remini's harassment lawsuit filed earlier this month. But according to the Emmy winner, the David Miscavige-led organization has made some harsh moves in reaction. That was harsh moves in reaction, which when it comes to Scientology is kind of an understatement. Quote, in the short period of time since Miss Remini's complaint was filed, Miss Remini and others have been subject to continued aggressive harassment, says an amended complaint from Remini put in the Los Angeles Superior docket on August 29th. And by the way, here it says read Remini's amended complaint. And when I go to that, by the way, this is what we see. Is that the church behind it, or is it just something else? That's interesting, though, that they don't even show that. So the amended complaint reiterates Remini's earlier... Oh, shit. I knew that was going to happen. Stand by. The amended complaint reiterates Remini's earlier allegations in the original August 2nd filing of retaliation by the church for her public critiques of its policy and personnel. However, additionally, Remini now is saying that since the initial complaint was filed, she has been the victim of various acts of credit card fraud, lambasted by online trolls. Undoubtedly, a lot of that comes from Twitter/X, accused directly by the church of generating, quote, threats of and actual violence against the church. Talk about projection. That's what they do. And suggesting she, quote, consider emigrating to Russia. Now, we know David Miscavige is behind these statements because he really talks like a toddler, seemingly connecting the dots. The amended complaint also says the business of, quote, Miss Remini's tutor was hacked. And just more than a week ago, the King of Queens stars Scientology in the Aftermath co-host Mike Rinder was stalked by someone close to the church. I don't know if you guys saw that on Aaron's channel and Mike Rinder's channel. I'll leave a link in the description box as usual to all the videos and the articles we talk about. But he had PIs following him, and we'll have him explain shortly exactly why that was. So the amended complaint details that claim. This is part of the update that Leah Remini added in about her and people around her being stalked simply by filing a civil lawsuit. On August 15th, 2023, Mike Rinder, who co-hosted the Aftermath and Scientology Fair Game podcast, and his wife, that would be Christy, were surveilled by an unknown vehicle. Their son and then neighbors alerted the Rinders to a, quote, suspicious vehicle parked on the main boulevard of our community outside their house. The same car preceded them on a drive to run errands and followed them into a parking lot. They came upon the same car again in a church parking lot adjacent to the entrance to their community. When the Rinders drove up to the car pulled out, making a U-turn over a medium to avoid them. I've got to actually show you this video. It's outrageous. So check this out.
Okay, we're out a couple of hours later, just coming out of our neighborhood, and this same guy is sitting in the empty church. Pull up straight in front of him. Sitting in the empty church parking lot. Whoop, he's got to run. Whoop, whoop. We were onto him. He's hightailing it out of here now in a big hurry. Here we go. Christy the Leadfoot is going to pull up alongside him. Wind down your window. He's going over the curb. Amazing.
And this is the reason Mike gives for why they're suddenly kind of surveilling him all over again when he's been the least active he's been for a while. Check this out.
Okay, no doubt whatsoever after this driving over the median to escape having a shot taken of him, that this is a private investigator. And the only private investigators around here are the ones hired by Scientology. But why? Why do they suddenly appear now? I mean, it's sort of, in some ways, it's very odd timing. I've been doing less than I have in the last 10 years over the last 3 months. But the big difference is Leah's lawsuit got filed. And I am certain that David Miscavige issued orders to the Office of Special Affairs to know where I am 24 hours a day, because he doesn't want me meeting up with a process server to guide them on the best way of serving him or doing it myself. So this is the same pattern that happened when Minton was in town, and I was the person that would get called any hour of the day or night saying, where's Minton right now? Dave's going to the movies. Dave's coming into work. Dave's going out to a restaurant. Dave's this or that. And so I had to know, and if I didn't, all hell broke loose. So it's pretty pathetic, frankly, that they are doing this in the face of the lawsuit that says this is exactly what they do to people. It's like they can't help but shoot themselves in the foot at every opportunity.
He's absolutely right about that. I mean, you'd think that they would know better and they would just stop harassing, especially since they're being sued for that very thing. But now they're, now they've been tailing Rinder and such. So let me continue on with the article. This harassment is especially egregious as Mr. Rinder is currently undergoing treatment for cancer. Knowing that her friend, while ill, is subject to this surveillance causes Miss Remini great distress. And as she noted in the original 9-claim complaint, Remini seeking unspecified damages, along with injunctive relief to, quote, end Scientology's policies against suppressive persons so that current and former Scientologists and others who wish to expose Scientology abuses, including journalists and advocates, may feel free to hold Scientology accountable without the fear that they will be threatened into silence. God bless her, Matt. I just want to say something real quick, because she's been a real fighter. And unlike a lot of celebrities, she didn't just crawl away. She made it her business. A lot of them sign NDAs and they kind of scoot away. I'm thinking of Nicole Kidman, Katie Holmes, Nazanin Boniadi, Jason Lee, and many others. Again, I don't know their life story, but I applaud Leah for what she's doing. I remember when that show came out, Leah Remini, Scientology in the Aftermath, they did 3 seasons. I think it came out around 2017. And all I can tell you from personal experience, it took a huge elephant off of my back because I was trying to explain to my friends what I was going through, trying to decompress and deprogram from Scientology. And not only did it go over their heads, they couldn't care less about it. And as soon as Leah's show came out, many of my friends came up to me and they said, oh, so that's what you were talking about. Holy shit, that's what you've been through. I totally get it, Doug. Just that alone, man, not having to frickin' explain it to my friends, and the fact that she's still fighting all these years later. And if she wins this lawsuit and we don't keep getting attacked and fair game and followed by private investigators because she wins this and that they can actually be held accountable for that, it will make even more people speak out. So God bless her, man. Continuing on. Okay, so contacted by Dateline today for a response to the amended complaint, the Church of Scientology resent its August 3rd reaction, ripping Remini as a horrible person and as a hate-spewing bigot. They just keep repeating the same damn trite lines over and over again. The statement also somewhat redundantly calls the lawsuit against the church and its leader, Miscavige, quote, ludicrous and the allegations pure lunacy. Now check this out. Having gone through a couple of judges already, actually 3 of them to be discussed shortly, already due to conflicts of interest and more, a hearing in Remini's suit is set for December 4th. I believe it was originally set for November 30th, and it's been pushed back slightly. But who knows if even this this latest judge, will be the one. So let me show you a little bit about these judges. This is judge number 3. Just 3 or 4 weeks ago that she was filing this shit. So here's a brief timeline, just in the last few weeks of these judges. Leah Remini's lawsuit will be assigned a new judge. This is about 2 weeks ago, by the way. Leah Remini's lawsuit will be assigned a new judge after Judge Barbara Schieper apologies if I'm not pronouncing that correctly, recused herself yesterday, citing a rule that suggests her spouse is in some way involved in the case. Leah filed her lawsuit against Scientology and its leader David Miscavige on August 2nd, and it was assigned to Los Angeles Superior Court Judge William F. Fahey. Leah's legal team apparently had some concerns about Fahey, so they used a preemptory challenge that allowed them to replace him without giving a reason. Then the suit went to Judge Sheeper, and the reporters we consulted seemed to think she was an improvement given her background on the LA Police Commission. However, but now she's taken herself off the case. So this judge actually removed herself, citing this language, which is pure psychobabble. I'll translate in a second. Citing this language in the civil code. A lawyer or a spouse of a lawyer in the proceeding is the spouse, former spouse, child, sibling, or parent of the judge or the judge's spouse, or if such a person is associated in the private practice of law with the lawyer in the proceeding, blah, blah, blah. What that means basically is right here. David Sheeper represented Scientology in an appeals matter in the Bixler lawsuit, and that appertains to the Masterson civil lawsuit, which will be discussed shortly. That certainly would prevent Judge Sheeper from hearing Leah's case. And then judge number 3 just comes in last week. Leah Remini gets another new judge in harassment suit versus Scientology Church. A new judge was named Thursday. This is just literally a week ago, to preside over a lawsuit filed by Leah Remini against the Church of Scientology, in which she alleges members of the faith have stalked and harassed her since she left the religion in 2013. Los Angeles Superior Court Judge Randolph M. Hammock was assigned to hold all future proceedings in the lawsuit and is the third bench officer to have such a role. Hammock previously presided over civil cases involving Courtney Love, Charlie Sheen, and members of the Kardashian family. Those couple of those names actually stuck out to me because if you guys have been following the channel, we talked about Courtney Love a few days ago and how she almost got Kurt Cobain into Scientology via their fake, pseudo, very dangerous drug rehabilitation program / Scientology front group called Narconon. And we also discussed Charlie Sheen too. And here's that ruling, by the way. Again, I'll leave a description. I'll leave in the description box more information about this particular judge, but I tried to do some digging on him. And what we came up with was, well, here's the case that he had against Courtney Love. And this was just in 2020, just a few years ago. And like I said, if you want to read that, I'll throw that in the description box. And then I just thought it was interesting that we talked about Corey Haim like last night. And Corey Haim, so this judge basically seems to be like a celebrity type judge. And I don't know if he's about getting people off that are kind of maybe have shady backgrounds or what. But in his new documentary, My Truth, The Rape of Two Coreys, which premiered in Los Angeles on Monday, Feldman, 48, alleged that Haim, that's Corey Haim, told him that Charlie Sheen raped Haim on set in the 1986 film Lucas. At the time, Sheen was 19 and Haim, who had died at the age of 38 in 2010, was just 13. And he didn't preside on those cases necessarily, but it's just interesting that he dealt with those particular people. This is what he looks like, and here's a brief background on him. This is all I could find. Los Angeles Superior Court Judge Randolph M. Hammock is a Superior Court judge currently sitting in an independent calendar court at the Stanley Moss Courthouse, Los Angeles, in which he presides over unlimited civil cases. He graduated from San Diego State University in 1980 and the University of San Diego School of Law in 1983. During his almost 25 years of practicing law, primarily as a civil trial attorney, Judge Hammock was admitted to and actively practiced law in a total of 15 states, as well as over 20 federal district courts and courts of appeal. As such, he is likely to have passed more bar exams than any other practicing lawyer in the United States. He was in private practice in Los Angeles from the mid-1980s to his appointment as a Superior Court referee in the Juvenile Dependency Court in 2008, where he served until elected as a judge of the Los Angeles Superior Court in 2010. He has been a member of the American Board of Trial Advocates since 2020. And by the way, this is a website that alleges corrupt judges. So I don't know how valid it is. Again, you guys can check out the complaint here said by someone in 2017, where apparently he defrauded this gal her house. But again, I don't have much background other than that on this guy. So back to the article. So with the same claims of stalking, malicious and harassing tweets, and quote, old school mob style tactics that were in her first filing, Remini's amended complaint arrived on the same day the judge in the civil case against Scientology and member Danny Masterson oddly opted to continue to stay in that matter. That case alleges harassment and more by Masterson and Scientology after the plaintiffs and their families went to the LAPD with sexual assault accusations against the former That 70s Show actor. The next hearing in the civil case is scheduled for September 27th. All three Jane Does in the civil case, in which Scientology unsuccessfully tried to get the Supreme Court to intervene, are former members of the church. And I'm sure you guys are familiar with this case. They are also all participants in the criminal case against Masterson, which will see the incarcerated actor, and as Aaron Smith Levin says, Scientologist in good standing and rapist Danny Masterson. His sentencing is on September 7th on the rape charges, and he was found guilty of 2 out of 3 charges by a jury on May 31st, and Masterson could spend up to 30 years behind bars in his sentencing. Having testified on behalf of former Scientologist Paul Haggis at the Crash Director's sexual assault civil trial late last year, People Puzzler host Leah Remini was a high-profile presence at the beginning of Masterson's retrial back in April. It's unknown if she will be in the sure-to-be packed courtroom for Masterson's sentencing, and that begins next week. So that's basically all I had today, my friends. Just a quick update on Leah. And if any other news comes in, as I'm sure there will be, because, I mean, we're only a few weeks deep, and she's had to change the date. She's had 3 different judges, and it's just amazing that they won't stop doing the very thing that she's accusing her of. Oh, we got Kelly Copter in the house. Hey, Kelly, it's been a while. I was actually going to send you a text and see how you're doing, my friend. Let me just check some comments here before we roll out of here. If you guys have any comments or questions, throw them up now. Good morning, Goldie. Do you ever sleep and or rest? I mean, you're up early. It doesn't matter whether live streams go early or at 3 a.m. You always seem to be around. The irony of Scientology, yeah, fair gaming Mike immediately after being sued for fair gaming. Exactly. What the fuck is wrong with these people? Well, Goldie, you know, they're under, as you know, under mind control. And sad to say, I would do the same thing. They're trying to take down my religion. L. Ron Hubbard technology is here to save the world. And these people like Leah Remini, inside your head, they're seen as very, very evil people. We don't, as program Scientologists, we don't see what you see, Goldie, and everybody else, where, yeah, she's a fighter and this is, you know, she's obviously not evil, but man, I got to tell you, if you could just get inside my head as a Scientologist when I was one, it's really scary about the level of judgment. And you will, like any destructive Kool-Aid drinking cult, fight for your beliefs. You'll die for it. You'll do anything for LRH tech. Anyways, my friends, if there's any more news, like I said, turn on the notification bells and all that crap, because sometimes we're going to jump in very quickly and other times I'll schedule events. But it's good to see you, and perhaps we will see you a little bit later today. Until then, my friends, take care.
Physical labor, an intense ideological study used to break the subject's will. Or is that the truth?